Hello everybody and welcome to today's Windrose video. Today I wanted to go through all of the game-changing tips and tricks that I learned as I made my way through my first playthrough of Windrose. I recently did complete the content we have available to us now, and I learned a lot just through playing the game and also from the great comments in my comment section as I made my way through it. So I'm hoping that this video will help new players just getting into the game, or if you've already played Windrose, maybe it'll teach you something new or remind you something that you've forgotten. So let's get straight into my first learned tip, which is that when you are at your base, welcome to my base by the way, you have a rested comfort level. Right now mine is set at 17. You get this level based on the decorations that you have at your base. So that's not the tip. The tip is that if you go somewhere else,
Sea's rough these days.
you'll notice that my buff is now ticking down for 26 minutes and, well, 10 seconds now. Anyway, if you are out exploring and you want to reset the time available on this buff, you can call your ship with the K menu. And if you hop on your ship, you'll notice that my rested buff in the bottom left corner is now reset. So now the timer on that has reset, and when I jump back off my ship, it will start ticking down again once I land on this island. So there we go. All right, this next one revolves around all of the hotkeys you have available to you when you are on your ship. So I noticed that some people don't know that while you are at the helm, you can toggle F and you will get a zoomed out view of your ship that makes it much easier to see enemies on the horizon. So that's one hotkey. B will turn shanties on and off so your men will sing. So there we go. And then while those shanties are singing, if you don't like the shanty or you want to move on to the next one, you can use N to toggle the next one, and your men will cycle through all of the shanties we have available to us. Alright, tip number 3 is conveniently going to be right in front of us here with these Blackbeard gunboats. So something else I've noticed is that aim when you are trying to shoot down other ships can be a little finicky in that oftentimes the shots will just go straight through the sails. Even if it looks like your white path by aiming is going to hit, oftentimes it just goes straight through the ship. So what you have to do is try and aim for the hull or the bottoms of these ships, particularly when you are in a big ship like the frigate. So there, it looks like I aimed right into the water there, but actually it's the perfect type of shot to take to get some really big damage in, rather than, let me show you. So this probably looks like it's gonna hit, right? But I think it's just gonna end up going right through the ship. Yeah, so I didn't hit anything there. Now I'm gonna try aiming at the hull again. As soon as I get a second. Hold on, the waves are in the way. That's another tip, I guess, as we do this, is make sure that you're not firing into a swelling wave. All right, hull shot. There we go. So as you can see, it works to aim low rather than high. This next tip involves travel bells. So throughout your map in Windrose, you can only have 10 of these fast travel points. So there are way more than 10 islands, and so it can get a little cumbersome trying to figure out where you want to keep which travel bell, how you want to spread them out. A way to get around this is to use the Homeward Journey potion that you can craft. What you can do is you can save your revival point at a tent, and let's say you die or you go back to your base. What you can do if you want to get back to that tent or that island is take a Homeward Journey potion, and you should pass out and wake up back at that tent. So what this allows you to do is use minimal resources by building a tent rather than by wasting one of your 10 travel bells. So a tent only takes, let's see, 10 plant fiber and 4 wood. So let's go see what a Homeward Journey now takes to craft. Here's what Homeward Journey takes to craft. You craft it at a level 2 alchemy table. So it takes 3 alchemical base, 1 rum bottle, 5 feathers, and 1 undead essence. I can craft it. There we go. Now I have another homeward journey, and I can just do that over and over again as I explore. So I don't necessarily have to waste my fast travel bells, and I can really put those things where I want them to be. Now, those undead essences, if you are having trouble finding undead essences, I have a way to easily get them. What you do is you make it nighttime. So you sleep in a bed. You look out the window and make sure that night is dawning. And once nighttime rolls around, you head out to the shore of a low-level island, and you can run circles around the shore, taking down drowners and fiddler crabs. It's a very quick and easy way to make a lot of undead essence so that you can either craft more potions or you can craft more homeward journeys. There it is. So there's an undead essence. So my bonfire is blocking the spawn of the drowned here, but if I were to continue around the edges of this island, I would keep running into those crabs and those undead, and I would be able to farm all of the essence I need to easily craft more potions and that homeward journey that we just crafted. So here's another thorn fiddler. There we go. He gave me crab meat. There's the undead essence I wanted. So there we have it. And as you can see, there's way more of them down along the coast. So I do this on low-level islands because I don't need to use any resources to take them down. And it usually takes like 10 minutes to clear an island or two and end up with like 20 undead essence, which is more than enough for me for each expedition. And speaking of expeditions, as you move through Windrose, you will clear biomes. When I say clear biomes, you will take down the threat in those biomes, meaning you will take down the boss. Once you have cleared a biome, you can then buy a merchant. This will help you. Please excuse my sulfur here.
You've got coins.
I need to pick up all this sulfur, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. This sulfur is found in the second biome that you will run into, and it's kind of stuck on the floor here. But normally you would have to find a sulfur node, I guess, and farm it in that second biome. But because I have bought a natural resources merchant, I can order sulfur from him directly. And the way you get these merchants is you buy them from one of the peoples of the Caribbean. And they are down here in the crafting and utilities section. So I have a natural resources merchant, I have a food merchant, and I have an animal products merchant. These will all hugely speed up your progress. So if I talk to the animal products merchant, I can order any of these products, including rough hides, which will help you upgrade your lower level gear. Mountain goat horn, boar tusk, animal fat, crab meat, bird meat, you know, all this. All the things you need to cook with and things you need for alchemy. I've already shown you this guy. You can even get hardwood and tree bark from him, which is really good when you want to craft your next tier ship. And then we've got the food merchant,
I'll check for availability.
who has seeds and, importantly, flax, which you also need for building your bigger ships. So these merchants are very important. The people of Tortuga merchant has the food merchant contract and the natural resources contract. Where you find the people of Tortuga will differ depending on your map. So mine is on this random island on my random map. So here they are. You will find your own versions of these NPCs, and the animal products contract can be found with the Rogue Buccaneers camp. So that's just a quick notes on those contracts to help you farm those resources without having to grind them out yourself. My next tip is going to try and clear up the confusion between character level and gear score level. So as you are going through the game, you will notice that your quests will say recommended character level 8. Now, to me, it seems like the game wants your gear score to be level 8. Your gear, mine is all level 15, will have a level. And when the quests suggest that your character level is 8, let's say, I think it means your gear score, because the enemies that you go up against will be gear score level 8, basically. If your gear is under leveled, it makes the rest of the game extremely difficult. Can be a little fun, but it makes it much more difficult. Your character level is... Hold on. Your character level has to do with the stat points you have invested in your character, which affects how hard each different type of weapon hits, as well as your vitality and endurance, or your stamina and your HP, basically. Your character level also determines how many talent points you have to spend in the talent tree. So on the one hand, you really do have more of a personal character progression that really doesn't have terribly much to do with the level you need to be for a quest. And then on the other hand, you have your gear, which should be kept in mind when you are looking at your quest log and a quest recommends level 8. Try and aim for gear score level 8 rather than character level 8. This one is a really quick tip about building mode. If you go into building mode with B, there is a way for you to zoom out a little bit so you can get a little bit more of a lay of the land. If you toggle V on your keyboard, you will zoom out and get a little bit more of a bird's eye view of the area you are trying to build within. This next one has to do with inventory management, and it changed the game quite a bit for me, and I can't believe I didn't notice it sooner, but let me call my ship. So I've got my Argonautica here. Let's say I have a full inventory, which I do. I want to put it all on the ship, right? I used to swim back and forth to do that. You don't have to do that. You can just hit tab and go to your flagship tab here. And you have access to your ship's inventory and can freely click and drag and move things. So I can put this plant fiber in there. You know, I could have used the hotkey, I know. Let's see, is there anything else I can stack in there that I don't need in my inventory? I'm still carrying around stuff that I really shouldn't have. I'll move this wood over. So see, it freely transfers back and forth between your ship and your inventory without having to actually swim out and be on the ship at the same time. Just saves you a little bit of time. Very convenient. All right, let's take the inventory a step further. Looks like it's gonna storm. Atmospheric tip video, but anyway. We'll take the inventory tip a bit further. Let's say you have a full inventory, but you don't want to be bothered with figuring out which crate you put that type of item in before you go and deposit it. Well, you can just deposit similar with Q, and it will automatically deposit similar items in each crate, so you don't even have to look at them. You can just zip through everything and deposit all your stuff. And there's some more space made in your inventory. So that is such a huge quality of life feature that I really appreciate the game has. This next tip is going to involve mining. Mining and light specifically. So let's say you go into a cave and immediately you realize how dark it is and how nice it would be if there was a little light in that cave. So what you can do is you can go into your build menu, and under your crafting and utilities there will be a floor standing torch. These torches can be placed in mines. They can be built without having to be within bonfire range. So I'll just place one here, and there you go. Now you have light in your mine. Unfortunately, you cannot use the decoration lights, so these cannot be built within a mine. So as you can see, I have a very basic torch, cannot be placed. This building is only useful within the bonfire range, so just keep that in mind as you are planning. Another thing I will note is that you can build supports to get up to an area that you would like to get up to in a mine. So I can build this foundation in here. I can use it to get up to the higher ores if I wanted to. I think I could reach these from the floor, but you get what I'm saying. You can actually build in mines, which is really nice, very convenient, and all of these things will stay as you leave. So if I leave the cave into the storm and re-enter the cave, everything will still be there ready for me for when I return and when the ores respawn. Also, ores respawn within 6 hours, or I should say at 6 hours, ores respawn. So all of this will be here waiting for you every 6 hours if you were to try and clear out a cave on respawn. This very final tip has to do with clearing your hotbar for boss fights. So as you can see, my hotbar currently has 3 weapons, bandages, 3 sets of potions, and my pet whistle. So what I like to do is only have potions, and the weapons I'm going to be using on the hotbar. I was struggling because I kept running out of potions, and then I would go into my inventory to put more potions. Like I would go like this during a fight, and then I'd be like, oh man, I have to click and drag this potion onto my hotbar, and I would end up getting bopped and losing my momentum. So I decided I would just clear my hotbar and only have what I need exactly for that fight on it. Not food, not even bandages. Bandages, I've learned in boss fights, are pretty tricky because they take so much time to get going. It's easier to just have a ton of potions on there ready to go. So that's my final tip. Good old inventory management will save the day. So those are my game-changing tips. They really helped make the game so much more fluid and fun to play through. Again, thank you so much to all of the commenters who helped me figure out a few of them and also reminded me that they exist in the first place, like that ship inventory transfer option that I didn't even realize existed. Very useful to have. If you are a new Windrose player, I hope you found something helpful in my little list of tricks. If you are a returning Windrose player or just want to see what I came up with, thank you so much for watching, and do let me know in the comments down below what I missed and what you would recommend. As I said earlier, I did just finish a full playthrough of Windrose, so I will put a link to the first video of that playlist here if you are interested in watching my journey through the full early access version of the game that we have available to us now. I'm keeping my eyes on the horizon for more Windrose news and updates, so make sure you check back with the channel every now and then and see if I've discovered anything new and exciting that might be coming to the game, or an update in the future perhaps. That is it for me today, guys. I hope you are enjoying your games, particularly if you are setting sail in Windrose like me, and I will see you all in the next video.